Hello and welcome back to my channel. As you can see from probably the title and the thumbnail and the music as well, today we are going to be recreating the famous house from Full House. I loved this show as a kid, I still love this show, and I can't remember what exactly inspired me to make this video, but I figured that with all the new, more like family-central and like comfort-central packs that have been coming out recently, that it would be a perfect time because we finally have furniture and that kind of stuff that would fit the aesthetic of the show. Obviously right now we are just setting up kind of the framework and like the floor plan. This was kind of a hard house to figure out a floor plan for a few reasons. One, it's split level, but it's not really split level. And in The Sims, you know, if you make something split level, it just makes everything complicated when it comes to doors and stuff like that. So there was a few things I kind of had to make alterations to, just because it didn't work. So like, for example, in the show, there's a door between the kitchen and the living room, but if I wanted to make the kitchen and if I wanted to have a door there, it would have to be up on that foundation level, but then you would have to have stores up there, and it became too much of a mess. So I decided to just leave most of the first floor, like on that, like the floor level, and just have the entryways on like that foundation level, if that makes sense. And then once we get to the second story, it becomes a lot easier because there's no split level anymore. And then the second problem, and probably the even bigger problem, honestly, is that when they make TV sets, they don't consider floor plans. It doesn't matter to them, you know, when they're making the TV sets, all the props and the kitchen and the living room and stuff. It doesn't matter what the floor plan actually is because you never see the whole house. You just see the sets from certain angles. So when you're trying to make a floor plan that's based off of the set, but like still works, so like, for example, in the show, when you're in the living room and there's that kind of diagonal walkway, some of the floor plans that I found online said that there was like a dining room back there or like a bathroom, but if I wanted to put a dining room or a bathroom back there, I'd have to figure out how that would impact the second floor plan, and then it would no longer be that kind of townhouse shape. It wouldn't be like that. You know how townhouses are always really kind of like long and thin? So I couldn't do that, and it just, certain things like that, they don't work out because sets aren't designed to have floor plans. They're just designed to look really good from certain angles. So especially when it comes to the second story, you have to kind of forgive a few things. I tried to make it as close to the floor plan as possible, but there's just a few instances where I kind of had to cut my losses and just do the best that I could. Also, final reason I had trouble with a floor plan is that real world things don't necessarily translate into The Sims 4. Like, you can't make things 100% the same. So for example, if you look at the outside of the Full House house, I guess, there's like, the basement is like with the garage, and so that's the basement, that's like the first floor, and then the second floor is like the, you know, the kitchen and the living room and stuff, and then the technical third floor is where the bedrooms and stuff are, and then there's an attic where obviously Uncle Jesse lives and stuff, but we don't have attics in The Sims 4, so I had to make that a third story, so it looks a little weird from the outside. And basements, we don't really have garages and all that kind of stuff, so again, I just kind of had to do the best that I could and make it look as similar as possible while also making it work in the game. Anyway, now that I'm done complaining about how difficult this was or whatever, I love Full House. Full House was like, I know it was like a really choppy switch of discussion topic, but whatever. So Full House was like my favorite show when I was a kid. Like when I came home from school and when I would procrastinate doing my homework, or if I was like sick and watching TV all day, you know, Full House was like what I'd watch. Like that was like my show, and I loved Full House. I love everything about it. I just think it's so funny and it's so cute, and it was just the greatest show. Also, my older sister, her name is Michelle, and when we were kids, we used to look very, very similar, like before we kind of grew up and started to look more different from each other, I guess. And so all of her friends and everybody would call me Little Michelle, like from Full House, because that was, you know, popular at the time. So yeah, that's kind of funny. It's like personal, whatever. So yeah, Full House is great. Also, I think like most people, I'm just a little bit in love with Uncle Jesse. I think he's great and he's funny, and even the actor John Stamos is funny and great. So yeah, that makes me love Full House even more because Uncle Jesse is just like my love. If you've ever watched an episode of Full House and you say that you're not in love with Uncle Jesse, I have to assume that you're lying because it's just a rule. If you've watched Full House, you love Uncle Jesse. Like, it's just, he's Uncle Jesse and everybody loves him. But anyway, back to the build. Obviously, you can see that we're just finishing up the living room. I thought that those couches were perfect because they're that blue color and they have all the cushions and I think they're super cute. I obviously had to kind of make up what went on that kind of opposite wall because that's where the set is, and so that's never shown in the TV show, obviously, because that's where the audience and all the equipment would be. So I kind of had to just make some stuff up. I think I tried to kind of fit like what I think it would be, like based off of the style of the house and everything else. So hopefully you agree with what I did there. And obviously in the TV set, that kind of reading nook back there by the stairs is underneath the stairs, but we obviously can't do that because you can't have stuff under there really and be able to access it. So I just decided to make it that little kind of room behind it, and I think it worked out pretty well. I think it's really cute with that little chair, like the diagonal chair that we got in the last pack. I think it fits really well, and I would like to go there. Also, there's that kind of hallway nook diagonal area between the kitchen and that kind of nook. And I think in the show it's like a cleaning space, like I think it's like the laundry room. But obviously in The Sims 4 we don't quite have laundry yet. I'm recording this on the 11th or the 12th, I think. And so it'll be coming out very, very soon. I'm super pumped about it. I had originally thought that I would wait to record this video until it came out because I thought it'd be perfect for it. But I read some stuff online and I think a lot of people are considering not getting the pack. So I figured I'd just not include it so then the people who aren't purchasing it can just download it no problems. And if you are purchasing the laundry pack, then you can just shove those washers and dryers in there, no problem. It won't be a big deal. I just thought that that would kind of be the easiest way. So in the meantime, I just put those little shelf things because I thought that they looked like they would go in a pantry or a kitchen. I thought they just fit. I think my favorite room in this house, or at least the one that like matches the TV set the most, is the kitchen. I really like the way that it turned out. I think the like dimensions are pretty similar and the furniture is pretty similar and the colors and everything. So I think that that's probably my favorite room in the house just because it is really similar to the TV set. Oh, before I forget, because I was an idiot and I did forget to record the decorating of Uncle Joey's room in the basement and Uncle Jesse and Rebecca, like their room, the attic, in the attic. That didn't make any sense. I forgot to record the basement in the attic because I just got a new like program to capture the screen and I was an idiot and forgot to record it. So you won't be able to watch the footage of that because I was stupid. But I do post some screenshots in the end. So if you are interested in looking at that, it'll be at the end. I was just stupid and didn't record. Sorry. Anyway, I have to tell a funny story because I'm still just so incredibly surprised that this happened. So I don't know if I've mentioned it on my channel before, but I work in a retail store. I'm a student, but I'm working just kind of on the side, you know, and it's a cosmetic, like a beauty store. We sell like hair stuff and makeup and all that, and it's a pretty big chain. You've probably heard of it if you are into makeup or anything at all. I'm not going to say the name just because, I don't know, that feels weird. But anyway, so we're a pretty big store, and something that I never realized personally until I started working in a retail store is how often theft occurs. I personally have never stolen anything. I've never seen anyone steal anything. Never had someone tell me that they stole anything. So I figured that it was kind of not a very common thing just because it seems so weird to me. But it happens all the freaking time. You would be so surprised. Like, we have to fill out this log thing that lists all the stuff, like all the empty boxes that we find when people steal stuff and leave the boxes, so that they can take them out of inventory. And we fill out a new one each month, and we could probably fill out a good page or two each month of single-spaced items listed. So that's probably, what, like $50 maybe each month, and that's just absolutely incredible to me. I'm still so surprised that there's that much theft. I've been working there since like May, and it just surprises me every time. Anyway, so whenever like we suspect that there's somebody who's stealing, we're supposed to just kind of like make our presence known, I guess, because people are less likely to steal if they feel like you're watching them, you know? They're more likely to steal if they feel like the employees aren't really present, I guess. And so the other day, I was coming into work, and one of the other girls who worked there told me this, but apparently there was this lady in the store, and she had like a strapping, wow, I can't speak, a baby stroller in the store, and she was pushing it around, like a huge one that has like all those different compartments and stuff, and she didn't have a baby in it. And so I guess that's like a common thing when people steal stuff. They'll bring baby strollers in without babies because it's like big and there's lots of compartments and whatever. And so just seeing that, it automatically put like the managers and stuff on alert to watch out for what she was doing because she brought a baby stroller in without a baby. And so the managers told us to, you know, and nobody tries to be rude, you know, just kind of ask frequently if she needs help or anything. And so at one point, this lady goes up, and she has a huge bag. Like, we have like shopping bags, you know, she has a huge bag full of stuff. And at one point, she goes up to the cashier, and I happen to be at the front, like where the cash registers are as well. And she goes up to her, and she was like, "Is there a manager that I can speak to?" And the girl was like, "Yeah, she's right over there." And she was like, "Well, I want to speak to somebody, like the highest up person." And she was like, "Well, you could always speak to corporate, like they're the ones who would be the highest up, you know." And she was like, "No, I want to speak to a manager." And so the girl was like, "Okay, well, you can speak to the general manager, like he's here, he's back there." And so she was like, "Is that the highest up person?" And the girl was like, "Yes." And so the customer, she goes back and she tells oh, never mind. I got confused. So she said that we were making her uncomfortable because we were following her around and that she didn't feel safe shopping or whatever. And so that's why she wanted to speak to the manager. And so the other cashier sent her back to speak to the GM, and she complains to the GM that we're making her so uncomfortable and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And so he told us to kind of stick to what we were doing, and so eventually she left her stuff, she didn't buy anything, and then when they looked on the security footage, because we do have security footage, she stole like 15 $50 makeup palettes. Like, what? I'm still just so like flabbergasted that this happened, because, and it's on videotape, they have her on videotape putting them in her bag, and like, she went in with the intent to steal something, to steal multiple items, and then she goes ahead and lectures the GM that she feels uncomfortable shopping because all these people are watching her. Like, clearly they were right, because she stole, like, that's probably like $3,000 or three whatever, I don't know. I can't do mental math. But it's just incredible to me that she had the nerve to say that she felt uncomfortable, because obviously there was a reason that everybody was looking at her. And like, I think that the reason she said that was because she thought that if she told the GM that we were making her uncomfortable, he'd tell everybody to back off, you know? So I guess, I don't know. It's absolutely insane, and I'm so incredibly surprised that that happened. I still am just like, wow, it was crazy. It was a trip. Anyway, sorry, I just took up like half the video telling my story. We are now in screenshots. I hope you guys agree that they're pretty similar to what the set looks like. I think I did a really good job. Please let me know if you have any other suggestions of what you'd like me to make in The Sims 4. I do really like making recreation videos. I think they're pretty fun. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video. The screenshots are just about to end. I hope you liked watching this video, and I hope I get to see you next time. Bye!